Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about float and clear. Now, these two properties, you can see them when you go into the position styles. If the element is a child of a block display element, then you will see this property. So when you open up the position, the block child section appears if the parent is a block. And there are two properties. One of them is float, the other one is clear. They're quite related together. So float has gotten a really bad rep because in the old days it used to be used for different layout purposes, and it's not really the best tool for that. But it's not deprecated yet. So if you hear that, oh, don't use floats at all, no, they do have one usage. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So if you go, I'm just going to add a file over here. So this is the primary usage of a float. So you add an image into a text, containing element, and you don't want this big image. You want it on the side. So let's make it a little bit smaller. So maybe about this big. And you know the typical format. You want this floating on standing on the right side and the text floating towards it, kind of wrapping around it. How do you do that? So that's float. So what we do is you go to the image and you say float right, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And it's very useful for this particular functionality. So this is the main reason why float is currently used today. Don't use it for, I mean, some people just use it to move some element to the right or left. It's not recommended. It takes them out of the context. It's kind of like doing absolute positioning on the element. It's not really recommended. And here's the other reason why it's not recommended. So if you look at the element tree here, I added the image after the heading, but you look at the elements, it's not very clear as to who's actually before who. It's part of this image is actually before the end of this. Part of this paragraph is before the end of this image. So does it come before that? No, it doesn't. So it takes it a little bit difficulty to adjust to it, and that's where the clear comes in. So sometimes you move things to the right and you don't, like in this case the text is flowing through it, and that's exactly what we want. But sometimes we don't want that. Sometimes we want this to float, but there may be certain sections, but this paragraph maybe I just don't want it to be part of this float, and I want it to clear. So I can say in that case right side clear. So that basically makes sure that there's nothing on the right of this, no floating elements on the right of this. And you can do the same thing with left, so it just clears. And I can do the same thing with this one. You can see it clears it. So that's basically the primary use for clear. But like I said, I mean, if you have to resort to clear, you're probably doing something wrong. That you should be using either flex or grid layout to move things to the other side, or you can use relative and absolute positioning. But yeah, I mean, don't use float for that purpose. Float is used specifically for this purpose, to float text around an image. All right, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching.